for president. All that plus CCN weather, which we won't have today, but next time, next on CCN Crown City News, your neighborhood, seconds away.
Do you have a great business idea? The Pasadena Enterprise Zone can help. Pasadena Enterprise Zone, open for business.
Hi, I'm Jesse Avila at the Convalescent Aid Society, a nonprofit organization established in 1923. We provide the free loan of durable medical equipment, of hospital beds, wheelchairs, walkers, canes, and many other items. Your donations and contributions are welcome and greatly appreciated. We are located at 3255 East Foothill Boulevard in Pasadena.
We're here to help you!
Please give us a call and check for availability at 626-793-1696.
Hi everyone, thank you for watching CCN Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood. I'm Sunita Joshua Madison. We begin our newscast tonight with a look at the upcoming election to fill Pasadena City Council seat for District 3. As you know, that's a seat held by former council member Chris Holden for 34 years before he moved on to the State Assembly late last year. The race is getting heated between three candidates, Ishmael Trone, Reverend Nicholas Benson, and we have John J. Kennedy, one of the candidates, live in studio to tell you at home why he should earn your vote. Thanks for being here, Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you very much, Sunita, for having me on the show this evening.
Absolutely. Well, you wanted to run for this seat about 25 years ago, run against Chris Holden. Why didn't you do it back then?
Well, I was just starting a career, had just come back to Pasadena from law school at Howard University. I was president of the Pasadena NAACP for 4 years, and the timing just wasn't right. But community leaders met with us, and many of them said that they would support me, but I decided not to run, and I also decided to support Chris. I was his first finance chair for his successful campaign.
Okay, so why now? What made you decide, okay, this is the right timing?
Well, over the past 25 years, family and friends have come to me and said that the community needs a leader like you, someone who's honest, experienced, understands the quality of life issues, and government accountability. I've worked in city government, and my brother, who had worked for the city of Pasadena for over 40 years in public works, he had just constantly be drilling into me saying, John, you need to run for city council. So last year, he mentioned that right before his death, and Chris moving on to the assembly, I just said, now is the right time.
Too many things pointing in the right direction.
In the right direction, yes. The cards kind of like said, this is the time, it's now.
Okay, well, so what do you think that are the main issues that the next council person needs to address, and how do you propose to tackle them on?
Well, I think certainly government accountability is extremely important. We've got to make sure the fiscal house of this city is in order. And I think I have a fiduciary responsibility as the next council member, particularly when other cities have had great difficulties as it relates to their financial situation. That's chief. Also, we need to really make sure that the community feels safe. So anything that we can do to advance community policing is extremely important. Helicopter seems to be a big issue in the city of Pasadena for some reason, and I think it's related to the noise issue. So what we're, in my view, need to do is purchase helicopters that are much quieter, stealthier, and really don't interrupt families' lives. I think that's important. Helicopters are a legitimate police use, and so I want to make sure we have that under our belt.
Is there a cost benefit to using helicopters? I mean, they're obviously to get state-of-the-line, quieter models. Is that beneficial to the police force, or can they use those funds elsewhere?
Well, we've had for many, many years Vietnam-era police helicopters. They're very loud. Recently, we lost 2 of them in a non-fatal accident, and so in my background as Deputy Chief of Police, where I managed a $42 million budget for the city of Richmond, Virginia, I would know how to provide the resources. I wrote grants to the federal and local government to provide resources for policing. So I would do the same as a city council member here and encourage staff and my colleagues to work with me on that.
Okay, well, we're going to come back to a couple issues with the police. But one of the main things, I think, for Pasadena right now in this area is jobs, just bringing jobs back. How do you propose to attract businesses to Pasadena, especially in light, one, with this economy, but also, the diverse nature of District 3. You have Old Town with, Macy's leaving kind of a whole, a gap that anything can be done. There's, proposals of hotels or other businesses. But then you also have the Northwest area that kind of needs a whole transformation. How do you manage both those areas?
So one of the things that you really want to do is make government receptive to business. So anything that we can reduce fees on businesses, we need to do. The other thing that's uniquely Pasadena is that we have the #1 university in the world right here in the city of Pasadena, Caltech. And so it's my view that we need to bring the educational institutions together and businesses together, the Chamber of Commerce, and have a blue ribbon committee that simply is tasked with addressing jobs creation, and making sure that we provide businesses with incentives to hire local. The issue is hiring local and training local and placing local. As the Senior Vice President of the Los Angeles Urban League, that's what I do on a daily basis. That's what I'm tasked with doing. Jobs for our community.
Now, to the question of, for a lot of people, Pasadena seems like 2-3 different cities, and I think District 3 really encompasses that. We were discussing how Old Town is vastly different from the Northwest area. How do you focus on both those areas, make both those areas not feel neglected, and address their concerns?
Well, I have a history of bringing people together, and I think that's extremely important that we have a council member that has a track record of working with a diverse community. And certainly in this case, it would be no different. I don't see Pasadena as 1, 2, or 3 cities. I see it as a collective working together. And so my job as a city council member for District 3 is to move us in the right direction as a community. And that means downtown, that means City Hall, which is also in my district, that means community arms, that means Kings Villages, really wrapped in one, talking about the real issues. The issues that affect downtown also affect Northwest Pasadena. We have to have a base of qualified employees who businesses can pick up and say, yes, that's the right person for this particular job in this city. And I think training programs help with that, and I would encourage that to occur.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the controversies that have come up in this race. Recently, in fact, the controversy has been with your opponent, Ishmael Trone, and whether he is a Pasadena resident or an Altadena resident. And Mr. Trone has been saying that your supporters have been trying to discredit him due to his strong support in the community, and that you were behind a private investigator who posted photos on the web of junk mail that he received at his ex-wife's home in Altadena. Are you behind that private investigator and that mail being out there?
Absolutely not, and I have no connection with what you're talking about. However, let me just say that there is a district attorney investigation that is looking at that issue, and we just need to let that process run its natural course. But certainly I have had no involvement in that process whatsoever.
You weren't the one who highlighted that to
No,
the district attorney?
absolutely
or your
not.
supporters?
I don't know what my supporters
Okay.
do, but I personally have not been involved in any way or have not encouraged that kind of behavior.
Okay. Another one of the things that is especially important in the Northwest area, talking about gun violence.
Yes.
And, especially given some of the high-profile shootings that have occurred in that
Yes.
area and around the country. And you had an incident in the early 90s of pointing a gun at a young man that you knew,
Yes.
and shooting him accidentally
Yes.
is what you were saying, shooting him in the stomach, and you said, it was just horseplay and an accident. And I know that it was a long time ago, but as a community is really struggling to talk about gun violence and, trying to handle what's happening and making good decisions. How do you talk to youth about gun violence and making good decisions when you have an incident like that?
That's a good question. And how you talk about that is young people should not be playing with guns. They should not be engaged with guns. The gun that we're talking about in this case was not my weapon. It was the young person that was with me when he entered the car. It was an accident. It was over 20 years ago. It was unfortunate. I was exonerated of all the charges. The family of the young man, the close friends, young man, close friends, I mentored him. It was an accident, and accidents occur. That's why they're called accidents. You can't really explain it fully, but I've moved on from that. And I have a track record that is pretty stellar beyond that. You may recall that right after that shooting and being cleared, I became Deputy Chief of Police in Richmond, Virginia. I worked for the police department in the city of Pasadena, and I think I've done exceptionally well.
Where do you stand in the national debate on gun violence when people are saying, that maybe reducing the number of guns that are out there that are in hands of young people who shouldn't have been, to reduce those accidents that are happening with horseplay and things like that? Where do you stand on that debate?
Well, I've never referred to it as horseplay because when you have a weapon, that's a little bit more than horseplay. I have not couched in those terms. That's very serious, and we want to keep it as a serious debate. Just this morning, I met with Police Chief Sanchez, Jaylene Mosler, Jill Shook, and others who are really focused on fashioning a solution to this whole issue of gun violence. So one of the things that we are contemplating is a buyback program that's more than just symbolic, that we'd also be educating young people about guns. I support the President of the United States who wants reasonable restrictions on the use of weapons and the ownership of weapons consistent with our Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. But certainly we should have reasonable restrictions, and I'm supportive of that and the work of the Vice President of the United States. That same kind of work is also going on in a discussion at the state level. So when you answer that question or ask that question, really it's a multifaceted solution, and the whole community needs to be a part of it.
Okay. Well, the last question I've just got to ask you, for a lot of people who may not be familiar with you, your name, is that something that helps or hurts you?
Well, I think more importantly than my name is the fact that I have a track record of working in this community, having been president of the NAACP and went to public schools here, University of Southern California, Howard Law School, wrote 3 very important ordinances for the city, recycling, waste haulers, and the taxi cab ordinance. That's the kind of stuff that you want in a leader. You want to know that they've had experience that's useful. I helped save 8 libraries from foreclosure, which is extremely important for our children. And that's millions and millions of dollars to help children. That's what's important.
Well, not a bad name to be associated with on either side. You've had a good track record yourself. So we thank you for coming in and sharing your knowledge with us and your experience.
Do we have a couple more seconds?
Is there something we left out?
Yes, I'd like to ask the viewers to visit John J. Kennedy for citycouncil.com and help us in this process. I'll be a great city council member. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for coming in and sharing.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
well,
it.
you've heard from one of City Council candidates for District 3, but what about the school board candidates? CCN's Paulo Alejandro hits the campaign trail. All that and more when we return on CCN. Your news, your neighborhood.
CCN Green Minute is brought to you by Southern California Edison.
Hi, I'm Luna with CCN, and I'm here with Janetta Harris to give us some tips on how customers can save energy and money.
Great. Thank you, Luna. First, I'd like to offer to our customers, if you're in the market for purchasing new appliances, please take a look at the Energy Star emblem that may be on them. You'll see 2 numbers on them. One number obviously is the purchase price of the appliance. The other number reflects how much energy they will actually save in a year. So make sure we look for those. We not only have them on appliances, but also electronic devices.
And what kind of electronic devices, besides the refrigerators and the kitchen appliances, can customers look for?
We all like computers, right? We all want those laptops. We need printers to get information out. So again, the Energy Star logo will be on those appliances or those electronic devices as well. We have a host of information, a lot of electronic and energy efficiency tips on sce.com/tips, or they can call into our call center at 800-736-4777.
Thanks so much. I'm sure everyone appreciates those ways that they can save money and energy. This has been your Southern California Edison Green Minute.
This CCN Green Minute is brought to you by Southern California Edison.
School board race is getting heated with your 4 candidates vying to represent the new Sub-District 3. The newest school district was created in November with the passage of Measure A. CCN's Paulo Alejandra talks to the candidates to get their vision if elected to office.
Which 4 candidates hope to represent after the Pasadena Unified School District holds its school board elections in March. We spoke to a few of the hopefuls during a candidates forum this past Thursday night.
The greatest determining factor limiting the cultural groups in District 3 is poverty. Investing where it counts, which is in the classroom, ensuring that the teachers are accountable to the students and the parents.
I've supported my community through local hire and through mentoring of the youth of the city.
Those are 3 of the candidates vying to represent PUSD Sub-District 3 in the upcoming school board elections in March. They were there, along with other candidates running for seats on PUSD's board, addressing concerns and questions from mostly parents, students, and faculty of various schools in PUSD. The candidates forum took place at Blair High School this past Thursday night. District 3 candidate Guillermo Arce says the board's most important responsibility is to challenge and engage students with fresh new curriculum.
They want to know that that you are wanted. Also, the kids want challenging and interesting courses and clubs and things so they can expand their educational opportunities.
PUSD Sub-District 3 was established after Measure A passed last November. The area, which includes John Muir High School, represents a dominant minority population of African American and Latino residents. We caught up with candidates Ruben Hueso and Tyrone Hampton Jr. after Thursday's forum and asked them about the challenges facing District 3.
Schools shouldn't look like prisons in District 3. We have a lot of parents that leave District 3 to send their children to other district schools. And why is that happening? Because we are not servicing their needs in their own communities.
I really don't think the city or even a lot of the community members really care about this race. If you look at it, we get about a turnout on these type of races, about 500, 800 people max. And this is the community. The youth in the schools are our future.
A 4th candidate, Deirdre Duncan, was absent during Thursday night's forum. She cites a personal family obligation as the reason for her absence. Duncan, a foster parent and community advocate, says that current teaching methods used by PUSD's teachers are far too general in their approach and need to be tailored to fit the individual student. She says that residents living in District 3 have been underrepresented by their city officials, and her candidacy aims to change this perceived lack of representation many residents in this area claim. In Pasadena, Paulo Alejandria, CCN.
Thanks for that report, Powell. The primary election for school board is March 5th, the same date as the city council elections. For more information on the candidates, you can visit their campaign websites. Now here's a snapshot of some other stories you may have missed this past week right here in the San Gabriel Valley. LA Sheriff's detectives are searching for victims of home burglaries that happened while they were on vacation. The victims were subscribers to the Los Angeles Times newspaper. Investigators believe that 51-year-old Dwayne Van Tunen, an office machine repairman contracted by the distributors of the Times, stole the vacation list and passed them on to a group of thieves, including Joshua Box of Arcadia and Edwin Valentine of Covina. More than 25 burglaries from San Gabriel Valley cities have been connected to this group. Detective Jack Jordan said in a statement that although much of the stolen property has been returned to the rightful owners, we are still trying to locate additional victims. Anyone with information is encouraged to call Detective Jordan at 562-946-7893. A tourist from Hong Kong was fatally stabbed in West Covina on Friday after walking out of a restaurant on the 100 block of Barranca Avenue with his brother at 2:30 p.m. Two men approached Sharon Kimlani. Kimlani was mugged and then sustained head injuries. He was taken to a local hospital where he died of his injuries. Anyone with information is encouraged to call West Covina Police at 626-939-8576. The Pasadena Armenian Genocide Memorial Committee has selected a design for the public memorial, which will be erected in 2015. Arts Center College of Design student Catherine Menard's rendering of a carved stone basin where a single drop of water that falls from the highest point every 3 seconds won over dozens of other entries. Each teardrop represents one life lost in the Armenian Genocide, which claimed 1.5 million lives from 1915 to 1918. Want a $7,000 reimbursement for your company's new hires? CCN's Luna Petty will tell you where to go to get the funds. You won't want to miss this next on CCN Crown City News. Stay tuned.
My name's Reggie. Just recently, my wife and I took in her sister's children. And we already had 4, so I went from becoming a family man to a man with a bigger family. Now, you can't eat love, so I don't know how I'm gonna feed them tonight. How was that, Rich?
I think I look more like Denzel.
That's cold, man.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
But it would be safe to keep your distance until there's no secret that laughter makes you smile. Reliable sources say that chicken soup has found their way out of this dangerous, but they are returned.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
2 outs with a runner on first base. Now the big guy comes up at bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
If you're a business owner or hiring manager thinking of hiring in the near future, $7,000 could be coming your way. That's part of the new hire reimbursement incentive offered by the Foothill Workforce Investment Board. CCN's Luna Petty has more on the story.
Over 1,000 job seekers, the Foothill Workforce Investment Board, or FWIB, is hoping their $7,000 incentive will help employers hire and train new employees and ideally place many of these workers in self-sustaining, long-term positions.
We'll sit with the employer and explain the contract for them, how the hire is going to take place, what they need to show us, what are the training modules, what are you going to take this person and train them to do to work for your company. But the catch is that this person after 6 months or the $7,000, whichever one expires first, this person, are you going to keep him long term? Okay, so the money is not a giveaway money. The money is a path to help the employer a little bit with with their expenses and costs of new hires, but also on the other hand, it gives these people who are seeking employment a right path and re-enter into the labor market.
Since receiving the funds in the beginning of the year through the Workforce Investment Act, the FWIB has been getting the word out to employers through the Chambers of Commerce in the 7 cities they serve. And what has been the reaction of employers when they hear they could get reimbursed for new hires?
No. What's the catch?
And so far, with very few requirements and only a little paperwork involved, there doesn't seem to be much of a catch. The Arcadia Chamber of Commerce CEO Scott Hetrick says these funds don't come along often.
This was a big one for us. We think that this was a really unique opportunity, something that doesn't come along very often, where we can actually, lead them to a cash incentive to improve their businesses and improve the workforce here in Arcadia.
The number of businesses who will be able to take advantage of this opportunity is unknown. What we do know is that it's on a first-come, first-served basis, and it's open to all business sizes and industries. In Pasadena, Luna Petty, CCN.
Thanks for that report, Luna. Well, this funding for the reimbursement comes through the 2012 reenactment of the 1998 Workforce Investment Act. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are still 3.5 million open positions nationwide, even during this period of high unemployment around the country. So the main purpose of the act is to increase employment by offering job training for people looking for work with the intention to improve the quality of jobs, reduce welfare dependency, increase productivity, and enhance the competitiveness of the nation's economy. Whew, that's a lot to happen with this one act. The FWIB says the funds are available to all businesses, including those outside their service area. Interested employers can contact JB Barakat directly for more information on the program at 626-584-8387. Well, cloudy skies cleared this weekend, but the summer sunshine didn't last or lasted today. CCN's meteorologist Curtis Peak is out today. He's a little under the weather with his daughter, but we have a quick 7-day forecast for you. Tomorrow we're going to see a high of 64, Wednesday 63, Thursday 61, Friday 57, and Saturday 58. We're going to increase the weather a little bit more on Sunday with 61 and 65 on Monday. So not hitting the 70s that we have so far, but the lows get down into the 40s. We have 48 tomorrow, 47 on Wednesday. Thursday is going to be 48. Friday all the way down to 42 and 41 on Saturday. Sunday and Monday will both be 44 degrees. So it's not quite as warm as we would like, but Curtis Peak will have more for you next week when we come back in. And it looks like we do also have some rain clouds coming up at the end of the week. Thursday it's going to be a little bit more cloudy, and Friday we'll have some rain showers, it looks like. So keep those umbrellas handy that we might have put away when the weather got warmer. And it is going to be 57, so Friday is going to be a cold day. Well, that's it for this newscast. Please reach out to us with news tips and community news at crowncitynews.com. You can also join us on Facebook and Twitter to keep updated on the latest. Thanks to John J. Kennedy for joining us in studio. Thanks to all of our sponsors, including Southern California Edison, Wink Marketing, the Pasadena Enterprise Center office building with available space, and Dr. Fareed Zarif. Thanks also to the CCN crew. They make this show possible. And finally, we thank you for watching CCN Crown City News. Join us each week as we cover the news in Pasadena and the San Gabriel Valley. For all of us here at CCN, I'm Sunita Joshua Madison. Have a great week.